Cake. Meat. Meat cake. Okay, more like meatloaf, but I guarantee you it's gonna be good and you're gonna love it. Our ingredients for this meatloaf: 1 medium onion. We're gonna dice this. 1 red bell pepper. We're gonna dice this too. 3 cloves of garlic. We're gonna crush this. 1 tablespoon of butter. We're gonna use that to saute the peppers and onions. 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. 3/4 of a cup of beef broth. Make sure it's cold. It's gotta be chilled, and you'll learn why in a little bit. 1 egg. And of course, 2 pounds of ground beef. This is just slightly over 2 pounds, and that'll be fine. For our glaze, which is optional, 1/2 cup of ketchup, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, a tablespoon of honey, it's in there, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. We're gonna mix this up. Let's get this mixed. Oh, this smells good. Now that we've got this mixed, take a look at that. Got our glaze mix. Look at this. And with this beautiful knife from Scallywag Tactical, look at that. You know I love showing this knife off. It's beautiful. I love this knife. Check them out, scallywagtactical.com. First thing we're going to do is dice our onion. Want to get like a 1/4 inch dice on it. Not too big, not too small. This is going to get caramelized in a pan. I should move this over to the bowl. Next up, dice of the pepper. I don't mind leaving a little bit of that membrane in there. I don't care. Man, this knife goes right through as if it's red hot and going through butter. This dice doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to get it small enough where it cooks down. Beautiful. Actually, put this in the bowl with the onions, and there we go. Now to this pan, I got it on a medium, just over medium heat. I'm going to add butter. Now once this butter starts to get a little sizzle to it, we're going to add our onions and peppers. I didn't put in the regular ingredients this. We're going to add just a pinch of salt to this to help bring the water out. Give it a stir. I forgot to mention, preheat your oven to 325. Yes, 325 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what it is, Celsius. I heard one trick to keeping your meatloaf moist was to add water to it. I don't really believe in that, because why would you add something that doesn't add flavor, right? If you're going to add something to your dish, if it does something, may as well add flavor with it, right? That's why we're using beef broth. But the reason why it's chilled is because we're going to add it right to this pan after these are done. It'll cool it down and help us, be able to handle it without burning off your fingers. Starting to smell these things getting a little brown. Now you don't want to get these black. You want to start cooking them down, start converting those starches into sugars, get a little browning on the edge, And once this is just about done, we're going to pop in the garlic, let that open up before we pour in our chilled beef broth. Another thing that's beneficial to pre-cooking your onions and peppers is they're pre-cooked, so you don't have to worry about them cooking in the meatloaf. Sometimes you get meatloaf and this big chunks of raw onion. You don't want that. This little bit of brown on the bottom is going to come up when I add the beef broth, but we're not cooking the beef broth. We're just using the beef broth to cool this down a little bit. So we're just about done. Let's get our garlic in there. Throw both those guys in there together. Get this off there. Perfect. Now we added that. We're going to cook it for barely a minute. Turn the heat off. Remove from the heat. We got this. It's looking delicious. I'm going to add our chilled beef broth. Then we're going to mix it up. Let it cool down. Get some of that flavor off the bottom. This smells divine. I'm going to add this to that. I'm going to get all those delicious onions and garlic and so much delicious. Okay, so we have this mixture, which is still kind of hot. It tastes good. Now to this mixture, we're going to first add our salt and pepper. Then we're going to add our meat. Sprinkle on the breadcrumb. And an egg. Let's get that egg mixed up a little bit. We're going to use our hands. If you want extra flavor, use your feet. And what we're going to do is just lightly mix this. We don't want to run it and really grind it together. We just want to kind of use our fingers to gently mix it together. You can use a mixer, like a KitchenAid mixer with a blade attachment to do this if you want. It's up to you. This is going to come out, it's going to feel quite wet. But again, we just want to mix, kind of lightly squeezing in your fingers. You don't want to grind it in. If you grind it in, you're going to get too dense of a meatloaf. And this bowl is trying to dance. So once you have everything mixed well, I'm going to stop knocking the camera over. Once you have everything mixed well, go wash your hands because they're really gross right now. Loaf pan, but we're not going to cook it in this loaf pan. We're actually just going to put the meat mix in. Now, the thing I always have the problem with, there we go. One little piece went flying. Get the rest of this in there. So now, what you want to do is gently pack, not hard, you don't want to grind it in there, you just want to kind of massage it in so you have no air bubbles. Air bubbles are not good. If I didn't mention it, I sprayed the inside of this loaf pan with a little bit of cooking spray. And like I said, we're not going to cook this in the loaf pan. What we're going to do is turn it out. We use the loaf pan as kind of a form. So, small baking dish. I cover with aluminum foil just to make cleanup easier. I'm going to flip it over. Hey. Set her down. And she should come out. There we go. See, like I said, meat cake. Look at that, nice block of meat. Kind of fix these edges in a little bit. Now, we have it set like that. Now it's going to go into the oven for 15 minutes at 325. Don't worry about the meat thermometer. We'll put that in a minute. We're just going to bake it 15 minutes, 325. We'll be back in 15 minutes. All right, 15 minutes have gone by. Time to take it and glaze it. Ooh. It's looking like a meat cake. Take a look at that. It's starting to cook up. So now this glaze is optional. You don't have to glaze it if you don't want to. However, I am a fan of my meatloaf being glazed. So you want to make sure you get the top good. Don't push down. You want to get the glaze on there, but this is still pretty soft. We put it in there so it would set, but this, if you push too hard, will start falling apart. You don't want that. I don't know if I mentioned that I prepped this little tray with foil and then put a little nonstick cooking spray on it. I'm a big fan of both. The foils because I'm lazy and it's easier to clean. Get the top of this nice. See, to me, the top crust, because this is going to make a bit of a crust. Okay. Get this end a little bit better. Now, something very important. A digital, stick it in, turn it on, close the door, meat thermometer. Bring this bad boy down here. I want to put it in that end. So we're going to put this in right up top at kind of an angle. You don't want it to go too shallow. You don't want it to go too deep. You want to get in there and get it to the center of this meatloaf. Gently, so we don't wreck the whole house, we're going to put this thing back in the oven. Oven is still on 325. Ooh, it's toasty in there. I'm going to turn this thing on to temperature, and we're going to set it to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That's our stop point. That's where we're happy. Okay, so it's in the oven. Got its thermometer in. We want 150 degrees. Now I got to say that this recipe came by special request of my little brother Randy. He says meatloaf is his favorite dish, so he wanted me to make meatloaf. I hope you like this recipe, little bro, and yeah, I hope it works out for you. This oven mitt, by the way, which has seen better days but is in still perfectly usable condition, it's just ugly as hell because it's seen years of use, is from my brother's fire department up on Long Island. He's a volunteer firefighter. So much love to all first responders, especially my little brother. All right, so we're at 150. It's time to take it out. I haven't seen it yet. It smells so friggin' good in here. You have no idea. All right, let's give this a shot. First thing you do, fun fact, if you've never used one of these probe thermometers, this wire goes into the oven. It's made of metal. It's going to be hot, so you don't want to touch it. I mean, you could touch it here. Don't touch the inside of the oven part. Holy smokes. Shut this off. All right, so I'm going to take this thermometer out. Why am I grabbing it? I loosened it up a little bit. Oh, there we go. All right. The exact thing I told you guys not to do, I just did. I'm an idiot. Look at that. Look at it. Look at my meat. We're going to let this, I want to just pick up this dish, this tray, and just take a bite out of it. If I had no class, I would totally do it, but I have just a little bit of class, so I'm not. 10 minutes. Let it rest. Would you look at that? Oh, it looks so good. It smells so good. I may even let Raj have some of this. What you think about that, Herr Raji?
I'm gonna eat it.
Oh, I'm like shaking. I'm nervous. Oh, look at that. Right there. I like my meatloaf sliced a little thick. How do you like your meatloaf cut, Raj?
I like it.
You just don't care as long as I'm serving it. How's that look? Does it look good? Look good up close? Is it clear?
Yes, it is.
All right. Enough waiting. I am dying to get into this. Oh, it smells so good. That glaze on the outside is just smelling so good. Here we go. Oh, I almost said a bad word, but I'm not gonna. I'll hold it back. This is ridiculous. Like obscenely ridiculous meatloaf is what this is. That's what it's gonna be called.
Obscenely ridiculous meatloaf.
You want some?
Yes.
No. Dude, here. No, stay over there. Eat that, but I want to hear your reaction.
Oh my God.
So there you have it, folks. This is one outstanding meatloaf. I highly recommend you give it a try. Check it out. The full recipe is down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell doohickey. Make it, comment, let me know how you did it. If you want to see me make something, this was for my little brother Randy. If you want me to make something for you, drop me a line. Let me know. I'll make it. I'll give it a try. Why not? Appreciate you stopping by. We'll catch you next time. Sugar, salt, fat, and booze.